Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Or mostly meat, I guess. So, Dust Towers is going to be the map. And we are loaded in. Taylor, take it away.
Alright, so spawning in the bottom position of Dust Towers, we have the blue Protoss player, MC. And spawning in the top area of Dust Towers, representing Root Gaming, is the red Zerg player, JimRising.
What a guy. So, JimRising, known for his cheese more than anything else. He's a very aggressive player traditionally, but he has been
He's been improving.
He's been improving a lot. Like we've been, by we I mean me. I've been like talking to him a lot and trying to get him to kind of get away from his very aggressive ways and more
make him more of a flexible player.
Yeah, more of a flexible player, exactly. More to add more to his arsenal. So we'll see what he has learned in the root house so far. He is staying upstairs, actually. He cannot hear us, of course. But yeah, this should be pretty good. So JimRising taking hatchery first, followed by a gas and then a pool. Wow. So already a little bit of a strange opener from Jim, given that MC has scouted him right away and is going for a greedy opener himself with a Nexus first. So what does this opener from Jim account for? It's really good, for example, against double adept openers. However, MC, being the excellent player that he is gonna scout this and potentially not even go for it, because JimRising will have speed so early that it's gonna be early, easy to shut down the adepts once he gets the speed. So he can chase them back to his base and guarantee killing them with an opening like this. So MC has to be careful. If we look back at his base, his gateway is about to finish, and we'll see if he chooses to add another gateway and a cyber core alongside it, or if he just
a cyber core.
Yeah, or if he just goes for a cyber core. And like this is what I meant. Like, he may have been going for the adept opener, but upon scouting JimRising and seeing that it's probably not gonna work, he forfeits it.
Yeah.
So like it's what we were talking about in the Puck series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Puck got the same information that MC has, but he went for the adepts regardless, and it got shut down really easily. So MC making arguably a better decision here. I say arguably because I don't believe that there's StarCraft 2 is not a black and white game. There's always advantages and disadvantages to everything, but I think that MC is making the best or one of the better things that he can do based off of the information that he has gathered. A probe will never escape from 2 lings when it's this low. However, if it was just 1 ling, fun fact, the probe will never die because it will regen shields before the ling catches up to attack again. So JimRising just poking here, and he's actually going to see a Stalker. A Stalker should give him some information.
Mm-hmm.
What it tells a Zerg player is you do not want to be scouted. One of the main things about Legacy of the Void in comparison to Heart of the Swarm, one of the design, I want to call it almost a flaw because I don't think it was intended, is the fact that because the economy has been sped up significantly, but the Overlord speed hasn't changed, and the times that it takes to produce units hasn't changed, it makes it so that Overlords are a lot worse at scouting. So Protoss can deliberately, and Terran as well with Marines, or Zerg even with Queens to some extent, can deliberately deny scouting from the Overlords, and on that regard, for scouting purposes early on, they received a very heavy what do you call it? Like ninja nerf?
Yeah,
like
it wasn't intended. Just like mineral walking.
Sure. So yeah, it's it is what it is. But JimRising should know that there's something up. If his opponent is making a Stalker to start things off, then that probably means that he doesn't want to get scouted. So what does JimRising do? He keeps an eye on the third. He might still try to sacrifice an Overlord, but he knows that there's something fishy coming. And MC very smartly has his Mothership Core in such position that it can spot this second Overlord coming in and just move his Stalkers to deal with it. And that's exactly what he's gonna do. JimRising, upon seeing the Mothership Core, quite honestly, he should have just backed the Overlord because, unless MC doesn't notice.
Yeah, what he's gonna notice.
Yeah, of course he's
a player of
he's
his
MC,
caliber,
like he's top 20 on the Korean server. Of course he's gonna have the Stalkers in place. So JimRising unsuccessfully scouting and wasting a lot of minerals in those Overlords. he may as well just made a blind spore, have made a blind spore, which accounts for like Stargate and Dark Templars. Of course, it wouldn't have helped at all, and he's not even doing that. So I'd be scared to hell. Like there we go. Now he's dropping a blind spore, and I think that's the right call, despite the fact that it's not gonna help him at all, right? Like
You just don't want to die too.
Yeah, you just don't want to die. Like the spore accounts for just multiple things, right? It accounts again for Stargate play, and it accounts for Dark Templar play, which are two of the most likely options when your opponent is denying scouting as much as MC is. So MC is going for a pretty big all-in here. He doesn't even have a third. That was mostly fake pylons, but good news for JimRising is he has been producing units non-stop. So he might just have enough here, and I think he does. So this is going to be actually good news for JimRising. MC committing to the mineral line inside of JimRising's main. So JimRising is going to have to pull back here, or stand to lose a lot. Now, he already pulled back the Zerglings, and he does have reinforcing units here. So as long as he shuts down this attack, and I think that he will from MC, he should be in great position. Not the greatest splitting of his army there. MC is in potentially 3 places at once right now, so JimRising needs to spread his army pretty much perfectly to deal with this. Now, throwing units a little bit at a time is not going to help him. MC just outclassing JimRising, quite honestly. But Jim had all the tools that he needed. Like, as far as decision making, he's done pretty all right here. But he's just taking way too much damage from these adepts. So, in hindsight, I think that if he just split his army a little bit better, like roaches are so hard to kill, and MC can't really micro 3 places at once. Nobody can really micro 3 places at once. So if he just sent a couple of roaches to each base, I think that's all that it would have taken for those roaches to soak up damage instead of the drones. Well, he, more convincingly shut this attack down. So MC still doing the proper thing, and now JimRising doing a little bit better with the links. Now committing those drones is probably a mistake by him, but as soon as he's able to clear this out, he will be able to drone back up and maybe stabilize. However, MC behind this is taking a 3rd base and still applying pressure, so things are looking pretty great for him at this point in time.
Over 20 workers killed.
Pretty simple.
Oh yeah, 33, 36.
Yeah.
You think he'll go for every? Wow, 26 workers.
26 workers killed. And JimRising is just gonna GG. I mean, like,
Yeah, too much damage.
That's just a little bit too much, yeah. Sadly, he had enough. He just didn't split his army as well as he should have. If that army fights against JimRising's army in a straight-up fight, they lose every time.
Yeah.
So,
But the power of depths, man.
the power of adepts, they're pretty good. And MC using them to their full potential, so...
How do you like the opener from Jim versus the opener versus MC? Because MC scouted it.
I mean, it was whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, I'd just rather go 3 hatch before pull. I don't think that it has a too hard of a counter.
Yeah.
But maybe he was scared of the 2 adept pressure. Maybe he's taken too much damage from that in the past. There are certain players that are just much better with adepts than others, and it's mostly just decision making rather than micro. It's like where you send the shades and awareness of what is and what isn't there, and how much you can take on or how much damage you can do to a drone line before the adepts die. So I like adepts. I think they have a lot of potential, and MC showing them to their fullest here. So
I agree. Yeah.
the second map is going to be Orbital Shipyard, and we're already loaded in. After this match, I believe it's going to be Petranus, Lord of the Underground, going up against No Regret, your favorite Zerg player in the world.
Yeah.
So that should be a pretty great match. And again, you can go bet on esportgaming.com/root. So yeah, go ahead and do that. You got time.
Do you think Jim's gonna do something cheeky this game? Something a little bit different?
I don't know, because this map is also a map where you can very easily secure 3 bases. So I don't know. If he's gonna do something cheeky, it's gonna have to be pretty cheeky. Maybe a Nidus could be good.
Oh yeah.
Because that bypasses the fact that it's easy to defend 3 bases because you just
You
go
don't-
to
yeah, you
the
don't have-
side right away. So
You wanna introduce?
no, you can do it.
Okay. So spawning in the top position of Orbital Shipyard, we have the Blue Protoss taking the first game. It's MC. And in the southern position, representing Root Gaming, he needs to bring this back. It is JimRising.
Hailing from Mexico, it is Alberto del Rio. Just kidding, it's JimRising. Still hailing from Mexico. I believe he is from Veracruz, for those of you wondering. And yeah, he went for a hatch first. MC again with a really fast scout.
And the Nexus first.
Just about the fastest scout that he can go for. So this is a good thing for JimRising as well. Like the fact that the scout is this early, he decides to drop the pool, right? Why? Because if he tries to go for a third hatch before pool, it's very likely that MC will just deny it.
Yeah.
So good heads up play there. You know, not even trying to sneak a drone and trying to go for a fast third. Again, going for a very quick gas. So again, I doubt that MC is gonna go for the 2 adept harass. So we might see very similar openers. The cool thing about MC's opener last game is that upon denying information, you have multiple paths that you can take as a Protoss player. For those of you who are new to StarCraft, just to sum things up, if you're trying to pick your race, a lot of the time it's good to take a look at your own strengths as a player and as a person, and decide from that. So Protoss is probably the race that relies the most on mind games and denying scouting and kind of like tech choices like that, like kind of like outsmarting your opponent or just tricking your opponent are things that Protoss does great. They're also really good at overcharging pylons these days. Like those are really strong. So if you're a fan of pylons and if you like your buildings to do a lot of damage, you can do that. Zerg, on the other hand, is one of the more reactive races, and that is because of how
everything comes out in one structure, either workers or units.
Like the way that our economy and our production is set up from hatcheries makes it so that we can make multiple of one unit at the same time. That also makes it so that we can hold off on the droning and then drone when we need to, when a base is up, instead of pulling workers like Terran or Protoss are forced to do pretty much. So Zerg is the more reactive race if you like adapting and you think that you have good decision making. Perhaps Zerg is one of the better races for you. And Terran, I would say, is the most mechanical race, the most straightforward race, kind of like do similar things and perfect those things.
Yeah, it's all about refinement.
As time goes out. Yeah, it's all about refinement. It's all about you need to know your build orders, but that's not like the main thing. Like Protoss, I think, has to know a much wider array of build orders. Whereas Terran, you can just kind of
you either go buy or you go mech, and it's like that's pretty much straight up.
Yeah, I mean you can still make more of one unit or less, but there's, I would say, a little bit less decision making than the Zerg would have to make on that front.
I just mule, stem, win. That's pretty much it for Terran.
Pretty much it. So if you have fast hands, if you are a mechanical player, I would say that Terran is probably the right race for you.
But I mean, Jim's trying to Overlord Scout, but that Stalker's still denying it, and he's actually suiciding the other one. But he does see the same. This is the same build. Pretty much the same build, yeah. And we see. Yeah, it is the exact same build actually.
And
Jim's doing the exact same thing, but he's getting Spine this time. So
Spine is brilliant, yeah. That'll prevent the Adepts. That'll make it so that the Adepts are run into that. Where is that Spine, Rob? Perfect. That's actually great. Like, I'm actually proud of Jim for that. Like, he identified what the build is. He's gonna be scared of Adepts going into his mineral lines again, and that Spine will soak up a lot of shots and buy him a lot of time.
MC would have to target fire the drones to actually kill him because the Spine takes priority, right?
Yeah, and again, it's impossible to micro in like 3 places at once. Yeah. Right, for anyone. So a lot of the time, MC will just be sending those Adepts to a different base, and now Jim just has to split his army between 2 bases,
which is much more manageable.
Much more manageable, and then he can go and deal with the third. The third base, which would be a liability maybe at that point, once the Adepts clear the Spine. So again, Jim with a very good response. We'll see if the execution is up to par.
Same unit counts too.
MC, yeah, it's
pretty much the same thing.
Same. This time around, Jim also has Ravagers, more of them, which is gonna help with the War Prism.
How many does it take to
snipe a War Prism? I think it's just 3 actually. I think he has the right number here.
But MC was smart enough, he didn't warp in aggressively. He stood back behind the creep and then warped in.
Yep. You might be wondering why are those Ravager shots in front of the Ravagers rather than on the Adepts. That makes it so that if you back your units out of the engagement, the Adepts will naturally pull forward, and if your opponent's not paying attention, they'll just run into the corrosive bile, not giving them much of an option to micro.
I mean, already we can tell that like this has been a pretty good defense from Jim.
Fantastic defense from
the
JimRising,
first game.
Yeah, and MC's third is so late now. He's gonna try to go into Disruptors, gets Immortals mostly for safety. I would really like for Jim to identify this and potentially go for Aspire. I think that if he goes for Aspire, he's gonna be in a fantastic position to take this game and just get ahead like that.
Yeah, and he's droning right now.
Yeah, MC can't account for everything right now. Oh, and look, there is a Spire on the way. By the way, there's 3 minutes delay on the stream, so there's no chance that Jim could be taking advice from me. So that is actually a brilliant decision, making me proud once again. Yeah, I'm actually quite proud of JimRising right now. He's doing everything pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So taking all the right steps. Again, MC can't really account for everything. Like he can't, because his economy has been hindered, because he was devoting so much to this attack. So he will scout the Spire, and we'll see how he reacts. He was getting Blink. I'm not sure if that ever finished. So we'll see if MC decides to drop Stargates, or if he just decides to go Blink. Now, MC is going to want to be out in the map by the time Muta pop up, and that's going to be really difficult for him to do, given that he's been wasting a lot of army. So once the Muta pop up, and if JimRising can get the Muta on MC's side of the map, and if MC doesn't have a way to deal with them, like the Phoenix, for example, JimRising will have complete map control and potentially be able to harass MC nonstop. Now, with the Spire on the way, I'm not sure how much I like this move out for JimRising, because MC, like I was saying, like if the Spire finishes and MC moves out, he might still have enough to trade JimRising. That is, but
that's a lot of force fields, though.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, if the Spire finishes and JimRising is able to get across the map, then that's gonna be great. So MC is pretty much forced to push before the Spire kicks in, because otherwise he's gonna be in a lot of trouble, and he doesn't have the economy to account for everything. So instead he's committing to a pretty much an all-in. And JimRising, I'm not sure that he's gonna have enough, and he definitely wasted units out there that he didn't need to waste, because he should have foreseen that MC had to move out.
But he did force the force fields. And that is pretty,
yeah,
because the ramp is so
small. I think that Jim probably still has enough here. It's gonna be really close.
Disruptor shot, or
those
file shots
not actually helping too much at all.
Oh,
I'm not sure if he needed to retreat there. I think he did it because of the moral shields being activated. So I don't know. I don't mind it. He's also retreating to a spine. And he likely has the better income right now.
Where are the mutas? The mutas are with the main army. How do you like this? Do you wish they were on the other side of the map?
No, he has to do this, because right now shutting down this army is pretty much game ending. So he might as well have
the full wraparound.
Yeah, and good corrosive biles, not amazing, but
There's no immortals.
No immortals, and now he's producing roaches, as he should. So this is great for JimRising. I don't know about morphing those Ravagers, especially if you're gonna morph them, you don't want to engage. I wouldn't mind a drone pool right now. And JimRising's win condition is changing as the game goes on. Now Muta are actually gonna help out against Blink Stalkers, simply because it's harder to blink out of range, and Muta can pick off the weakened ones fairly easily while the rest of the army gets in position. So this is not looking too bad for JimRising at all.
Pretty good blink micro from MC. Like,
oh, great. Yeah, of course,
that's a given. But yeah. He does violate some of his own mutas, though.
Look, like the mutas should be focusing on those weak stalkers. They're not particularly, but still. This attack was shut down pretty well by JimRising, who pulls 50 supply ahead. Right now, what he should be looking to do is make sure that MC does not have a fourth, and maybe take a fourth of his own. If not, just try to outright end the game.
Oh, but
and I like that he's going with some army, knowing that he just took a good engagement. No, I think this is fine as long as he has reinforcements. And he should have been engaging. Okay, there we go. There's the link. So he's going to try to hold with this army and then force warpins, defensive warpins by MC, and potentially do some damage on MC's side of the map. But MC just warped in aggressively, which means the units of JimRising on the other side of the map could do a lot of damage. He needs
and they do get through.
Yeah, of course they get through. He just used more warpins aggressively, like I said, Taylor. Thank you. So yeah, this is actually great for JimRising, who's going to completely shut down MC's economy. And right now, if he can just defend MC's attack, he will be in a great position to close out this game. I wouldn't mind a drone pool anyway, or when did I say anyway, Taylor? What was I trying to say?
I don't know.
More Ravager shots are being, or more Ravagers are being made. Links in production to support those Ravagers. Go. There's the drone pool that we were very much expecting, because he knows he's done enough damage on MC's side of the map that if he can just shut this down, he will be in a fantastic position. Now, JimRising's attack actually somehow got taken care of. How did that happen?
It was all in the back base, and he didn't go into the main base. Like, and MC pulled all of his probes from the natural. But he's not paying attention here, and Jim almost takes out the War Prism. If he took that out, that would be such a big deal.
Yeah, and MC actually somehow ahead in this game. Upgrade-wise, JimRising's ahead, so that's going to be good for him. But is it going to be enough? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, what are you doing, Jim? What are you doing that, Jim? Uh-oh. 3 Overlords and... Oh, my God. Game of Throws. I'm fairly certain that those units for Jim could have done a lot better on
He
MC's
felt your
side of the
energy
map.
for all the right moves, but then
The
he pulled the Jim
execution was
move.
just,
Yeah.
like, yeah, not there. Like a couple of things that he could have done better, in my opinion. Maybe just the first engagement he didn't need to take, right? He could have just stayed defensive and waited until MC was forced to attack, because he was always going to be forced to attack or fall further behind economically or stop
And
using
having
a
to deal with
robo.
mutas.
Yeah, like exactly. Like he had to spread himself too thin in too many ways to deal with what JimRising was, proposing.
Yeah.
So overall, good decisions by Jim. It was a pretty close game, and I think it could have gone either way. I really like the decision for the counter attack as well with the Ravager Ling, and that did its job. But I think it could have done better. Maybe some of the
It only
units
got 10 worker kills.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe some of the units got caught off position. We would have to look at the replay, obviously, but it seems like he had enough units that he should have been able to deal with at
Like,
least
did he
one,
split them
one
up throughout
warpin.
the whole bases?
Like, no split. Just like he should have been able to deal with MC's warpins.
Okay.
So if he could have found where MC was warping in, or even just found the units after the first warpin, that would have been his win condition. But perhaps not able to do that. And
Battle APMs though.
yeah, both players are at around 300.
311.
Yeah, JimRising's pretty fast at 311 APM actually. Mechanics are definitely one of his strongest points. But with that,